दादा दादा
एक बार देखना है आपका एक कितना आएगा बराबर है।
जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा। श्री गुरु चरण गुरु पूजा नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण प्रसाद तले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वामी निपना
Mm. Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita Gadadhara
Shiva
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for today most auspicious Sri Rama Navami Mahotsav, the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. Very, very merciful, very, very blissful day for the Vaishnavas. Very auspicious moment to glorify Lord Ramachandra and seek his blessings. So thank you very much for everyone joining. We'll do a little kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajana Yashodanandana Brajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunjabhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sitaram, Raghupati Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Raghupati Raja Raja Patita Pavana Sitaram. Om Vishnu Bharat Brahmamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtabhata Shatata Shishvangas Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Bharat Brahmamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtabhata Shatata Shishvangas Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Himse Kahu Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopika Radha Kunda Sham Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, अयोध्यापुरी धाम की जय, गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय, श्रीमती भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय, प्रॉपर ट्रांसलेटेड बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, कलियुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, ग्लोरियस श्री गुरु एंड गुरु ग्लोरियस प्रभुपाद की। So we'll start with the verse. Today is Ram Navami, so we'll read the words about the Lord's birth and his activities. Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam, karma cha me divyam. एवं यो वेति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामिति सो अर्जुन जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सो अर्जुन। Translation. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, takes his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode. Purport. O Arjuna, purport. The Lord descends from his transcendental abode is already explained in the 6 words. One who can understand the truth of his appearance, truth of the appearance of the personality of God is already liberated from the material bondage. And therefore, he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting this present material body. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, is only partial. and there is a risk of returning to the material world. But devotee simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and the activities of the Lord attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body, and does not run the risk of returning to this material world. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord has many forms and incarnation. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with a conviction, although it is incomprehensible to the mundane scholars and empiric philosophers, as stated in the Vedas. Eko hi devo nitya lila anurakto bhaktavyapi hridaya antar atmaha. The one personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many transcendental forms in relationship with his unalloyed devotees. This Vedic, this Vedic version is confirmed in these words of the Gita personally by the Lord. He who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculation, attains the highest perfection stage of liberation simply by accepting this truth of on faith. One can without a doubt attain liberation. The Vedic version tam tat tvam asi is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the supreme, or who says unto the Lord, you are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of God, is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attains perfection, and this is confirmed by all the Vedic words. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from the birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of God, and there's no other way to achieve this perfection. That there is no alternative mean, that anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God is surely in the mode of ignorance. Consequently, he will not attain the salvation. Simply to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to the mundane scholarship, such empiric philosophers may assume very important role in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshushan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vitayam Vitamcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Peshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. You can chant with me. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we read in the purport, the last Prabhupada writes that in the beginning, Srila Prabhupada writes that even simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body, nature of the body and activities of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending the body. Simply, Prabhupada is writing, simply by understanding the activities of the Lord, one can attain the abode of the Lord. One may be a great scholar. Prabhupada writes here in the purport of this verse, in the last, that because in the material world we are all very puffed up with false identification of the ego. So is that such puffed up mundane scholars may have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. So we have been, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, last few days, last 2 weeks, we have been actually hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord with his teachings, with proper philosophical conclusion, with perfect knowledge coming in the line of Srila Prabhupada. So, in our discussion of Ramayana, we had reached, where had we reached? Anyone remembers? So we saw that how Bharata goes to meet Lord Ramachandra. He decides. Bharata actually, he meets Mother Kaushalya, and after that, all the citizens, all the ministers and the Kulguru Vashishtha, they request Bharat that Bharat, you have to control your emotions, and it is the time for you to give peace and liberation to your father's soul, who is waiting for the final rites given by you. The elder brother Rama is in the jungle, is banished to the jungle right now. So Bharata, it is now your duty to give fire to your father's body and liberate him. So in this way, Bharat Maharaj does the final rites for Lord Dasharatha, and then he's completely broken down and crying with great emotions. And even Shatrughna, was crying. Both were pacified by Mother Kaushalya and Vasishtha and the minister Sumanta, that they have to control their emotions, and it is a time to act very, very maturely. After the final rites for Dasharatha Maharaj was performed, the next day, Bharat Maharaj, King Bharat actually, is not yet accepted the kingdom, but there was a discussion in the whole Ayodhya, in the kingdom, amongst the mothers, that Bharat has to be put on the throne, enthroned as the king of Ayodhya, to take care, as desired or announced by Dasharatha Maharaj. And Lord Ramachandra also, while leaving Ayodhya, the soldiers, the ministers, and the citizens, they all were lamenting, and they were even forcing Lord Ramachandra that Ram, you are our king, and wherever you go is Ayodhya for us. So you stay here, and we will not accept anyone else as the king except you. So Lord Ramachandra actually gets angry, and then he announces that this is not the right way to deal the situation. My father, the great king Dasharatha, is in a difficult situation, and he has announced Bharat to become the king. Bharat is our king, and I request all of you to give my brother Bharat the same love which you all are giving me. So the citizens were left with this instructions of Lord Ramachandra, all the citizens, the ministers. So they all were preparing to do Rajya Abhishek of Bharat and make him the king. And when Bharat left his palace and entered the assembly of Ayodhya, all the citizens and also the ministers and the soldiers, they treated him exactly they had actually treated, they used to treat Dasharatha Maharaj every day. The soldiers glanced at him, looked at him, stood as if they are welcoming Dasharatha Maharaj, because this was the order of Lord Ram. And then when Bharat arrived to the assembly and took the blessings of Kulguru Vashishtha and the senior ministers, they told, Vashishtha especially told to Bharat that the kingdom, when it is without a king, when it is without a ruler who's under the guidance, because in the Vedic time, king means Rajarishi. He was never a king who is very puffed up, who is very self-centered, or who is very attached to his own possessions and his own family would be called as king. But the kings who would have brahmanas, gurus on their assembly, they were actually called Rajarishi. When Rajarishis are there, there is no chance of evil energies. There is no chance of evil energies to actually overpower justice, overpower the kingdom, or contaminate the kingdom of the citizens in the society. That's the power of a righteous king who is under the guidance. So in this way, Vashishtha, he preached to Bharat Maharaj that now without the king, the kingdom is in danger. You immediately take the control of the kingdom and rule. Now you rule the kingdom, he said. So when Bharat heard this, he though came in the assembly and sat down, but his heart was in pain and he was crying. He was weeping like a small child, hearing that he's been told to become the king of Ayodhya now. Now here we have a very, very nice teaching for all of us. See, a king of a kingdom is under the guidance of a sadhu. That's why he's a Rajarishi. And that same culture goes down from the kingdom to the ministers, from the ministers to the soldiers and to the citizens. So it is very important, all of us individuals always have to be under the guidance of a Vaishnava, under the guidance of a spiritual authority. We should remember that this, without spiritual knowledge, without spiritual authority, we will be left with our mind, contaminated mind in the material world, which makes us feel always that you are someone really very, very great. And we have to suffer the whole life because of this. I have seen in my own life that so many times, myself and many other devotees, we suffer because we think that we are so great devotees, we are so nice people, we I have to be dealt so nicely. I am the great person. It's always around me, me, and me. It's only about me. And if one is guided by the Guru, one is guided by the spiritual authority, then it is actually on the path of righteousness. You are protected. Then you are protected by the Lord and His teachings. Sometimes our karma can come, sometimes our shortcomings, sometimes the upbringing which we have. We may have very good karma, good education, good looking body, good family, but the kind of culture we come from, or the kind of samskaras we have with our friends and society, they become a hindrance in the journey of the special human birth. But if you're always guided by a guru or Vaishnava or sadhus, then you will never. That is why many times I have always instructed devotees to serve with me. If they have any differences with me or anyone else, or any philosophical conclusion, the simple procedure is identify a Vaishnava, speak to him, a senior Vaishnava, speak to him, put your side and hear from him. What he concludes based on the teaching of scriptures, that should be followed. And I have seen those people who want to burn themselves in the oil of their ego, they will never accept an authority. They will always think, this happened to me, that happened to me, I am the best person. No, that is very wrong. You see, the king is not there, but the sadhus are sitting in the kingdom, rishis, Vashishtha Muni, and he is ordering, Bharat, now take up the kingdom. Now Bharat Maharaj, when he was told like this, he was in so much pain. And Bharat asked the question to Vashishtha, and that, yes, it is true that, the kingdom without the king has to be, very, it is very dangerous situation for a kingdom without a king. But I have one question to all of you. The question, if it remains in my mind, then I will be very unsatisfied. An unsatisfied king cannot do justice or cannot focus his intelligence to the duties of a king. He tells that few days ago, my late father, King Dasharatha Maharaj, in the same assembly, had made an announcement that Rama will become the king. Did all of you accept that? I said, yes. Why did you accept that Rama to become the king? He says, then when Bharat took the name of Lord Rama, Ramachandra, everyone in the kingdom, in the assembly, became very blissful. And he said, when he asked about if Rama was qualified, they all remembered the qualities of Rama. He says, Rama is Sarva Guna Sampanna. He is not qualified. He has the best qualities, and he has all the qualities in best. So he is, and he was, and he will remain qualified to be the king. So he said, then why was he banished to the jungle if he was qualified? So if King Dasharatha, because of his attachment to one of those queens, of whose son I am, something which was already decided and announced in the assembly, wherein Kulguru Vashishtha is sitting, minister like Sumitra is sitting. How did that not happen? And then he breaks down into tears that it pains my heart because of this Queen Kaikeyi's behavior. I have to suffer this rest of my life. I have to suffer rest of my life, this burden on my head that Rama had to leave. How you can imagine that Bharat would like to become the king? The eldest brother is having the rights to become the king. And Rama is not only eldest, he is, as you all mentioned, he has all the qualities in the highest level. So Rama is the qualified person to become the king. Bharat cannot become the king. Bharat cannot dream of becoming the king. Please don't give my heart so much pain. I am already an unfortunate person and I am going to be known in the history for this unfortunate. My sins, the sins of my mother and me has no repentance now. Only I have one hope. When we bring Lord Ramachandra, King Ramachandra, when we bring him back, maybe he will punish us right way and give justice to our lives. So I request all of you, please, please, don't pain me more. All the preparation which is made to make me the king, let us take all these things. Let us take the whole kingdom, all the citizens, all the ministers and the gurus. Please, let us go to where Lord Rama is and do his Rajya Abhishek then and then and bring him like a royal king and put him on the throne. Please, this is the only desire this unfortunate Bharat has. When Kulguru Vashishtha heard this from Bharat, he broke down into tears. He said, Bharat, you have melted my heart today. What you spoke is never be seen in the history. Bharat, the kingdom and power for which people in the material world are ready to kill their own father, brother. This taste of power and money and position is so high that people hanker for it. And Bharat, you have rejected that. Just like one rejects, just like someone has a mustard seed in the hand and the seed only has no value, one just throws the seed. In this way, Bharat, you have rejected. Glories to you, Bharat. Glories to you. And then Bharat cries and falls at the feet and requests. He requests King Vashishtha that please let us go and bring Rama back. After this, Bharat goes to Mother Kaushalya, Sumitra, and all other queens. And he tells them that the minister and Kulguru have agreed. We all are proceeding. We all are proceeding to bring Rama back. And we will do Rajabhishek of Rama. Kaushalya shows the doubt. She says, Bharat, you don't know Rama. He will not come back. He will only come back after 14 years. He is Dharmatma, Dharmaraj. He's a follower of Dharma. It is very difficult to convince him. Then Bharat cries and tells that mother, your blessings and Kulguru Vashishtha's blessings and my heart I will pour in front of him. I will fall at the feet. I will request Rama that I will go for 14 years on his place and he should take care of the kingdom. Kaushalya has tears in her eyes and she feels, very satisfied. And then the Ramayana describes that the preparation of Bharat proceeding towards bringing Rama to Chitrakoot. It is said that, see, in this section of Ramayana, you get to see the glories of Lord Rama and the glories of the kingdom of Ayodhya and how the Vedic time people were well organized. Bharat Maharaj sends an army ahead who duty was to simply build roads. The duty was to build roads, build cities, small villages on the way, so that they halt with the whole thousands of elephants, thousands and thousands of horses, with all the food grains, as the whole Ayodhya is going out to bring Lord Ramachandra back. Like that they are proceeding. And Bharat was looking so happy that now he is going to bring his brother Rama back. Very, very happily. Bharata proceeds with Shatrughna, Sumitra, Vashishtha, the three queens. Proceeds to bring them back. Now, what happens is while proceeding, Vasishtha and Bharat Maharaj and everyone, they reach they actually reach to near the Tamasa river, where actually the great servant of Lord Ramachandra, Guhu, was residing. Guhu was having his kingdom there. So when Bharat Maharaj, he reaches to the territory of Guhu, Nishad Raja, Guhu. So Vashishtha Muni says that now we have reached into the territory of King Guhu, the great devotee of Lord Rama. Lord Ramachandra stayed one night in his shelter. And Guha, he actually considers himself as the servant of Lord Rama. But Lord Rama treated him as his own friend and never considered Guhu as a servant. And Lord Ramachandra was so happy to stay in his territory. When Bharat heard that this is my brother Rama's friend, but at the same time the news goes to Guha that Bharat has arrived in his territory and with a great army, soldiers, weapons, horses, elephants, and the news is that he's heading towards Chitrakoot. When Guhu heard this, he got really shocked, and he told all his kinsmen, soldiers, no, not possible. Bharat cannot be successful in this dream to go and attack Rama. No, please be ready and go and guard all our boats. King Bharat cannot use our boats to cross the river. And each one of us spread out on the trees. Let me go and see the intentions of Bharat first. And if we see that Bharat desires to go and kill Rama or attack Rama, we will attack Bharat right now and kill him. Or then the soldiers explain to Guha that, Arey, this Bharat is coming with a very, very big army. The army is so big that we cannot even see how far they are coming from. The dust in the sky is so high, and there are thousands of elephants and horses and soldiers rushing. I don't think so. We can even match to Bharata's soldiers. Guhu tells, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't have to think about the strength of Bharat to protect Rama. We only have to think about our service to Rama. Life will be glorious if we die in service of Lord Rama. We will go and associate with him eternally. And if we are able to protect Rama from the same path after 14 years, Rama will pass by and become the king of Ayodhya, under whom we will remain the king. In either case, there is only benefit. So please don't worry and wait for my indication. So this was the devotion of Guha towards Lord Rama. And Guha exemplifies There is no boundaries to what caste you belong to. There's no boundaries to what limitations physically, mentally, and strength you have when you perform a devotional service. What is required is the heart. Go when you have the heart of devotion, you will not go by calculation of mind. And the calculation of mind is how big is his strength, how big is my strength. That what doesn't work. When it's about the heart, when it's about the heart, then you will just be contemplating on how to perform your service to the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Guhu exemplified this, and he went and met Bharata, and Vashishtha introduced him that this is the great Guha, who is the great devotee of Lord Rama. Bharat, when he saw Guha, Bharat fell down at the feet of Lord Guha, and he said that if my brother considers you as his friend, great Ramachandra, you are as good as Rama for me. Please give your blessings. Give me blessings. Please hug me. If you hug me, give me love, I will feel as if my brother Rama, the great Ramachandra, my King Rama, is loving me. Guhu, when he saw this, emotions of Guhu, when he saw the emotions of Bharat Maharaj, King Bharata, Guhu could not control. He just started crying. And that night, Bharat and all the citizens and mothers, King Shatrughna, they all stayed. The tents were built. Guhu arranged all his citizens to build facilities, arranged all food, and Guhu went on describing. He said that our Ramachandra described you very well. Ramachandra described you. When he was here, he was talking about you. That my brother Bharat, he is going to be the king, and now I am under his shelter. We are all under his kingdom, and he is having all the great qualities: respect, love, guidance of Guru. That's all he follows, and you have all those qualities. And what to speak about Rama? Rama, he slept just like he was told to be banished and remain in the forest. He did not come into my kingdom. He and Sita, they stayed below the tree. Bharat heard that Ramachandra slept below the tree. Below the tree? He said, where is the tree? He said, here. I had myself with my hands made those, put the kusha grass from them. Mother Sita and Rama slept below the tree. And Lakshman, whole night, he was guarding Rama and Sita. I was sitting with Lakshman. And Lakshman, what a love Lakshman has for his brother. Lakshman was simply glorifying Rama's qualities whole night. And next day morning, Ramachandra matted his hairs and crossed the river and went ahead. When Bharat heard this, that Rama had matted his hairs and he was in tree garb, wearing a dress of tree garb. Bharat also wore the dress of tree garb. He matted his hair and he went on, before that he went and saw. And when he went and saw, it is written in the Ramayana, the kusha grass was still bent in the positions where Rama and Sita slept. Bharat saw those, fell there, and weeping, crying, he described to Guha that King Rama, Prince Rama, had lived in opulence all his life. When in Ayodhya, he never stepped down on the floor. He was always in the chariot and royal carpets. That great king slept here, and Bharat actually fell down and whipped and cursed himself for being the cause of Lord Ramachandra's suffering, going through this austerity. Then, taking of course, Guhu himself, when he came to know Lord Rama, Bharat is going to bring Rama back. He also proceeds, and they reach the ashram Bharadwaj Muni, where Lord Ramachandra takes guidance on how to go forward. So when they meet Bharadwaj Muni actually asks first Bharat, when he sees the whole soldiers, army, horses and elephants traveling with Bharat, they were surprised. Bharadwaj Muni was surprised. He asked Bharat that Bharat first pays obeisances and seeks blessings. But Bharadwaj Muni asks him first. He tells him, tell me first, what is your intention to come here and your intention to go further and meet Rama? Are you having ill intention to attack Rama? Is this what you have in your mind? When Bharat heard this, he starts crying there. He said that this unfortunate Bharat is born for this. My dear Rishi, I have no desire to live. I would have died for the act of my mothers. In fact, I pray that death should have come to her and me. But I am just living a life so that I can bring Rama back and be punished by him. I just want to be punished by him. Bharat Muni heard this. He said, no. Bharat, I know by the will of providence, I have the powers to foresee things, and I know that your intentions. I just asked you to hear from you and hear your glories. In this section of Ramayana, Bharat actually stays one night at the ashram of Bharadwaj Muni. Ashram of Bharadwaj Muni is like a small hut. But if you read Valmiki Ramayana, Bharadwaj Muni arranges a royal facility just by the power of his austerity, spiritual strength. He creates a palace like Ayodhya, creates parking yards for the horses like Ayodhya. In those palaces, hundreds of maidservants and hundreds of servants to assist the three mothers, Bharat, Shatrughna, Vashishtha, ashram, everything he arranges just for one night, and everything disappears after the night. Here you can see the strength of the rishis, munis in the jungle. Today, if you talk about it, people will just think that it's all mythology. But this is the strength. Then from there, one minute. From here, Bharadwaj Muni guides them that now you go towards Chitrakoot. Our King Rama is residing with Mother Sita and Lakshmana. Please proceed towards Chitrakoot and bring Lord Rama back. Now, in Chitrakoot, Lord Ramachandra is living in a hermitage with Mother Sita and Lakshmana. That same day, when Bharat had reached Bharadwaj Muni's ashram, Sita got a dream of some soldiers coming, some very disturbing dream. And Mother Sita comes out. And it is said that the forest was very, very austere. Lord Ramachandra definitely, he also lived in Gurukul, but Mother Sita had always lived in a palace. So sometimes it used to be very, very hot while walking. Sometimes there used to be hot tones which would hit their legs. So Mother Sita, she would never express the austerity and the pains. She would just take it inside herself and keep quiet. And Usually, Lord Ramachandra, he could see Mother Sita having so much of austerity, so much of pain, and not complaining anything, taking all this pain, never complaining anything. You know, she never complained. So Lord Ramachandra, when every day or while they're, in the forest, Lord Ramachandra used to spend a lot of time describing the forest to Mother Sita. Mother Sita would point out a bird, and Lord Rama used to get into describing the bird. He would describe various birds, what they do, how they sing to Mother Sita. He would describe their various flowers, various animals, and he would get into the details of tree, which tree would give which fruit in which season, how the trees were, you know, part of the jungle, and how the jungle, by the arrangement, by the will of providence, or by the creation of the Supreme Lord, live in harmony. In this way, Lord Ramachandra used to keep on describing the beauty of the jungle and look at the eyes of Mother Sita. And Mother Sita used to look at the eyes of Lord Rama, and she would just forget. She would just forget the austerity she is actually going through in the forest. In fact, for Mother Sita, it was with all this austerity, for her, this was a great boon. Why? Her Prananath Ramachandra was always in front of her vision. Always in front of her vision. He was never out of her vision. Whereas in Ayodhya, Lord Rama had to go to king, do his service as a prince, go to see the ministers, go to see Dasharatha Maharaj, follow the orders of Dasharatha Maharaj. But now, no kingdom, no duties towards as a father, as a prince, only with Mother Sita. So this was one thing. But here we learn that a duty of a wife, a duty of a wife. It is said, even if the woman is not beautiful and not educated, but if she can, Prabhupada mentions this, if she can do two things: cook very nice food, puts her heart into learning cooking, and second thing, she knows to take care of the house, which means she knows to tolerate. She knows to tolerate. If she does this, even if she is not educated and ugly, the man will love her like a princess, serve her and love her from the heart, not from the external beauty. These are the very important thing. And Mother Sita, she exemplifies here that in whatever may be the situation, it is a duty of the wife to stand up with the husband. So now many husbands may say that no, you should stand with me like this. But the husband also has to follow the Guru, the Vaishnavas, the Sadhu, the spiritual path, the philosophical conclusion of the Shastras. Husband has to be ideal. But beyond that, Shastras say even if the husband is not ideal, the wife still has to serve the husband. Serve the husband. Because in such situation, following becomes difficult. But she has to serve the husband with her heart. So this is how, when the wife is like this, selflessly serving and standing up with the husband goes out of the way to take care of her emotions. There's a beautiful teaching here from Ramayana, and how Mother Sita and Lord Ramachandra's exchanges exemplifies for all the devotees how, specifically in the Grihastha ashram, they're supposed to live. So in this way, every day Lakshmana used to guard them. And as usual, Lakshmana was guarding them and taking care. And he was going to the jungle. He used to be on the tree. Suddenly, there was a great sound coming. And all the animals of the forest were running here and there. And there was a big, on the clouds, there was a big, on the sky, there was a clouds of dust. as if a great army is coming ahead. When Lord Ramachandra saw this, he told Lakshmana, who was already always guarding, he told Lakshman, just see why the forest animals and the beasts and the birds are so disturbed. Why don't you just go and see what is happening? So Lakshman goes there and he sees that a big army is heading towards Chitrakoot, heading towards exactly where they are residing. And when he saw with attention, he saw the flag of Surya Vamsha, the flag of the kingdom of, which kingdom? Ayodhya. He saw the flag of the kingdom of Ayodhya. And Lakshman came running. He came running to, to Lord Ramachandra. And he told Lord Rama that, my dear brother, please hide Sita into the caves. And prepare for the war. Today, I will make sure that Bharata doesn't go alive. But Ramachandra said, what happened? He said, Bharat is coming with his army towards us to attack us. Immediately take your bow, take your arrow, get ready. This is the opportunity. Take the revenge of this Dasharatha, Kaikeyi and Bharat. Lord Ramachandra said, Bharat, Lakshman, what are you talking? Why is Bharat coming and why he will attack us? Then Lakshman says, my dear Lord, you are very innocent. You are very, very innocent and simple. You don't understand. You don't understand and you don't blame anyone. Actually, that was Lord Ramachandra. He never blamed anyone. He always did two things. Accept it is as the will of the Lord, or this is the karma of mine. So he said, now Bharat is coming and at this moment we can finish him off and everything will be over. So Lord Ramachandra said, don't talk like this about him. Bharat is our king. He said, what king? Nothing king. I had listened to you when you were in Ayodhya. But now he is himself coming here. I am not going to listen to him. I am going to kill him. I don't know if Dasharatha is there. Everyone will be killed. Everyone will be killed. Ramchandra chastised him. Bharata, that Bharat, don't speak. Ramchandra chastised Lakshmana. Lakshmana, don't speak like this. Don't speak like this. Bharat is our king. He is our king. We are under him. Even if Bharat is coming with the citizen to attack him, we are not going to attack him in reply. We will accept defeat by Bharat. I cannot do this. And then why will he attack us? Then Lakshman tells, attack us? Attack us? He knows citizens are not going to support him. He knows that after 14 years, when he will enter Ayodhya, the whole Ayodhya will accept him as a king and reject him. Who can stand in front of you, my dear brother, my dear king? You are the right person to become the king. He knows this truth. That is why his desire, like his mother, is to enjoy the kingdom eternally. So what he wants? He wants to come and kill you here so that you don't return back to Ayodhya after 14 years. You will not understand, my dear brother. Please get ready and first put Mother Sita into the caves and get ready. When Lord Rama heard this, first he smiled and then he got angry. He got angry. He said, stop talking about our king like this. And you're talking about kingdom? Bharat will never be attached to kingdom. Bharat is the most detached person in this whole creation I have seen. Bharat is very detached and very loyal, very honest, very, very truthful. Don't think like this about Bharat like this, Lakshman. And you're talking about the kingdom? You are so much worried about the kingdom? And Lord Rama got very angry. You are always speaking of the kingdom? Okay, let me do one thing. You see, if Bharat comes here, I will tell Bharat Bharat, make Lakshman the king of Ayodhya. In a moment, Bharat will renounce the kingdom, remain with me. Then you go to Ayodhya and take care of the kingdom, which you are always talking about. When Lakshman heard the anger of Lord Rama, he got very alarmed and he fell at the feet of Lord Rama and cried like a child. And he told him that, why is Bharat coming with the kingdom? He said, Bharat must be coming to take me back. By that time, actually, just before this, Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita had the conversation in which Lord Ramachandra tells Mother Sita that, Ram, Lakshman and Bharat, they always have a little tussle. And the tussle is to prove themselves as their love is more towards me. But I see both of them, both my brothers, Lakshman and Bharat, they love me like an ocean. Their love towards me is so high that an ocean cannot be measured. In a similar way, I cannot measure the love they have towards me. So already Lord Rama had mentioned this. And when Lakshmana was chastised, he becomes very alarmed, cautious, humbled, puts his head down and stands in front of Mother Sita and Lord Rama. By that time, Bharat gets the information that very close by where there is a fire, you see some smoke. That is the house, hermitage of Rama. Rama is residing there with Sita and Lakshmana. When Bharat heard this, he just told Vashishtha, the route towards my lord's hermitage is very hilly. Please, you come slowly with the mothers. I will run with Guhu, Sumanta, and Lakshman Shatrughna. They run. Bharat, having tears in his eyes, goes running. And when he reaches the hermitage of Lord Rama and Shatrughna, when he sees Lord Ramachandra's form as a Vanavasi, as a person banished in the forest, Bharat looks at Rama's matted hair, wearing tree barks, like a Vanavasi. Bharat looks at Lord Rama, folds his hand and falls unconscious, seeing his brother in this form. And Lakshmana holds the helmet of the king of Ayodhya, Shatrughna, and he fell unconscious. When Rama looks at, when Lord Ramachandra looks at Lakshmana, when Ramachandra looks at Bharat like this, Lord Ramachandra picks him up, holds him, and Lord Rama tears. Bharat is unconscious. Rama is in tears, and Lakshman becomes so shaken and humbled, so humbled. The cry of Bharat and Lakshmana shattered by seeing this. And even Bharat was wearing the same garments. And then he folds his hand. Lord Ramachandra, brings Bharat into consciousness. After a moment, he wakes up and he falls at the feet, straight falls at the feet of Lord Ramachandra and begs him that, please come back to Ayodhya. Ayodhya, there is only one person who can become the king of Ayodhya. That is Rama. That is you. Please take the kingdom of Ayodhya. I beg you. Bharat actually after coming to the consciousness, he straight falls at the feet of Lord Rama and cries and weeps and requests him that you come back to Ayodhya. You take the kingdom of Ayodhya. And the first thing after taking the kingdom is punish Bharat for his act. Punish Kaikeyi. You are the elder brother. You are supposed to become the king, not me. How can you and how did you leave? Did not wait for me. In this way, Bharat goes on crying. And and crying, requesting Lord Rama to take the kingdom. And Lord Ramachandra lifts Bharata and he preaches to him. He said that, Bharat, this is not right. We all have been educated by the Guru, and we all have been trained by the Guru Vashishtha, and also our ministers and our father Dasharatha. Please, this act will give pain to our father and even to me. Please, Bharat, don't talk like this. And why? By that time, Bharat is actually crying today and pleading to he's pleading Lord Ramachandra to come back to Ayodhya. By then, Vasishtha Muni and Sumitra, Devi, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and all the ministers and many citizens, many citizens actually also arrived there. And when they arrived there, Lord Ramachandra was shocked to see his mothers. And he saw mothers, and he saw Sumanta, he saw the citizens, he saw the soldiers, he saw the ministers. And after seeing all these people, he cried out that, why have you come here, all of you? Why have you come, all of you here? He tells them very strongly, why have you come here? Why did you leave my king alone, Dasharatha Maharaj, and come here? Then he fell at the feet of the mothers, takes blessings of Vashishtha, the spiritual master. Then he takes the blessings of the mothers, and then the whole discussion begins. But before this, Bharat tells us, Rama, that we all are here because King Dasharatha has left this material world and gone back to the heavens. And Ayodhya is without a kingdom. And Ayodhya is waiting for you. Look here, my dear brother. Shatrughna, Vasishtha Kulguru, our minister Sumanta, the mothers, the unfortunate Kaikeyi, and even the citizens and the soldiers have come to take you back to Ayodhya. Because our father is not there. As soon as Lord Rama, when he heard that Dasharatha has left this world, Lord Ramachandra actually fells unconscious. And he cries out, calling out Dasharatha Maharaj. And he said that, oh, alas, what an unfortunate news this is. But then the Ramayana explains that after this, Lord Ramachandra does the final rites, offers water, holy river water to Lord Dasharatha. And after performing the final rites, they come back and they resume for the day. Now, Bharat tells Mother Kaushalya that please go and speak to Rama and tell him that he has to go back with us. Mother Kaushalya says that if I go to him, he will simply give me some explanation from the Shastras and prove that how his Dharma is very, as per the Dharma, he is supposed to follow, and I will not be able to convince him. It's not in my hands, Bharat. You should go and talk to the minister. Bharat goes and tells Sumanta that I am, you have to speak to Rama. You are the eldest. You speak to Rama and tell him that he has to come back to Ayodhya tomorrow. We are doing the Rajabhishek and proceed towards Ayodhya. Ramachandra is just, not showing any symptoms to come back. But Sumanta tells that, I think Bharat, you should speak. It is your desire. You speak to Rama. You tell Rama that please you come back. Bharat said, how can I tell him? I am his younger brother and his servant. How can a servant order the master? Sumanta folded hand and says, same is my situation, my dear sir. I am also the servant of Rama. And since I am seeing him as a prince, my life's desire was only this. The day I see Rama becoming the king, that day I will peacefully prepare myself to leave this body. I am living for that day to see Rama as the king. But I am his servant. I cannot order him. You should tell Kuluguru Vashishtha. He goes and tells Vashishtha. And Vashishtha says that no, we will all speak to Rama together. And then it is said that there was a big assembly. When Bharat tells that Kaikeyi is sitting there, and tells that because of this unfortunate and sinful and greedy lady, this whole situation has arrived that King Dasharatha left by following her. Rama is here in the jungle, and I cannot accept this, that Rama remains here. Rama has to come back and become the king, and on his behalf, I will remain in the forest for 14 years. The sin of Kaikeyi, I volunteer to take it on myself, and I remain here. Then, when when Lakshmana tells this, Lord Ramachandra actually stops him and tells him that no, please don't blame Kaikeyi for what has happened. Don't blame Kaikeyi at all for what has happened. It is the will of the Lord, and it is the time which decides everything. So please don't blame Kaikeyi, all blame Dasharatha Maharaj. It is the will of the Lord, and I am assigned the duty to fulfill the boons of my father. So let me do my duty, and you do your duty. A king or a son or a disciple can be in the right path only if he follows the orders of the superiors. I have my order and you follow your order. But the Bharat gets very disgusted and he announces that I will fast till death here at the hermitage of Lord Rama, if he doesn't accept to go back and become the king of Ayodhya. If nobody is helping me, this is my final decision. Now Ramachandra stops Bharat and tells him not to do this. By that time, actually, Janak Maharaj arrives into the scene. And then there's a big description that Janak Maharaj should be involved. Mother Kaushalya goes and preaches to the Janak Maharaj. And he tells that, please, you convince for me. I know Rama already convinced me and came to the forest. And I know Rama will not come back. But my fear is Bharat's vow. And second thing is, will Bharat live in Ayodhya? So that is why, please, we all are completely helpless. Even our Kulguru Vashishtha is helpless. We all mothers are helpless. Bharat is finding himself helpless. Please help. And Janak Maharaj is called Mahajan, though he is a king of Mithila, but he is a great, great devotee. And that's why he is also Rajarishi. And Janak Maharaj tells that Rama is, as mentioned, Sarva Guna Sampan. He has the understanding of the conclusion of all the scriptures. And he is the great personality. Rama knows what is right and what is wrong. What you all are trying to tell me is very difficult for me. But I can only pray to the Supreme Lord and pray for his guidance so that I can speak properly in front of Ramachandra. And Dasharatha actually, when he sits in front of Lord Ramachandra, and Janak Maharaj, when he sits in front of Lord Rama, seeing the beauty of Lord Rama, Vashishtha, Janak Maharaj, Lakshman, Shatrughna, all are sitting. And then Lord Ramachandra speaks. And he convinces everyone that he presents his side, that his duty as a son who has been ordered by the late father to be in the forest for 14 years. He proves them that one who is a gentleman, who is a spiritualist, cannot blame a situation. He has to accept as a will of the Lord and proceed towards a duty given to him, whatever it may be. And he tells that for me, I am left with only one thing. With tears in eyes, Lord Rama tells that I am left with only one thing: my father's right last order to remain 14 years in the forest. So whatever you say, I will follow. He tells this to Janak. Janak hears Bharat, and then in conclusion, Janak says that the love of Bharat towards is so high, it is beyond the scriptures, it is beyond arguments, it is beyond our logic, it is beyond dharma to speak against Bharata's love towards you. In fact, today the situation is such that knowledge, austerity, dharma, everything is flooded and crossed away by Bharata's love. So it is Bharata's love which is above everything. Then he points out at Bharat and tells him, Bharat, but the duty of the person who wants to selflessly serve. Selflessly serving means unconditional service, which is called pure love, true love. This is exactly Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us also. Anyone who wants to selflessly serve has to ask or know or hear or understand the loved one, what he wants. So, Bharat, your duty is to know what will please Rama. And then Bharat had no options to follow Janak Maharaj. He goes and he begs to Lord Rama that consider my situation and tell me what I have to do. Ramchandra smiles at Bharat and he tells him that, Bharat, the kingdom which you have come to offer me, the son of Dasharatha and disciple of Vashishtha, accepts the kingdom from Bharat this day. But I tell you to take care of the kingdom till I come, and after 14 years, I will take the kingdom from you. Everyone had tears in their eyes. Everyone was smiling. See, when it material possession and duty, that is why it is very important to understand the philosophical conclusion. Even in Mahabharata, when Dhritarashtra was repenting that Duryodhana will not accept Pandavas as the king, not accept Yudhishthira as the king. And he always was crying that Duryodhana will not listen. He will give up his life, but he will not listen. We know how Dhritarashtra was very concerned about Duryodhana. But our acharyas, they explain that people in the material world are so attached to themselves. This attachment which we see in the form of family, society, children, kingdom, and all these things. And one may speak that I love you, I have done all these things for you, I am this, I am that. Until one is a follower of a spiritual master and Vaishnavas and living the life based on scriptures, it is all untruth. It is just lip service, it is said. One loves someone else because he wants benefit from him. That is why our acharyas explained that Dhritarashtra, when he wanted Duryodhana to become the king, in his heart he knew one thing, that till the time Duryodhana keeps fighting and arguing that he will become the king, not the Pandavas, or keeps endeavoring, till that moment I will remain the king. So it was a desire of Dhritarashtra to remain the king, and one of the ways it was by supporting Duryodhana. Similarly, Kaikeyi wanted Bharat to become the king, her son, but actually it was a contamination of mantras association. It was the false ego and the wrong association which contaminated her mind, and she wanted her prestige, she wanted her position to be protected and defended by taking Bharata's name as a king. So in this material world, people are like this. Everyone is like this. Everyone is like this. And we have to understand from Lord Ramachandra's action that Lord Ramachandra is guiding Bharat towards the right direction, and Bharat simply accepts that. But the devotion of Bharat in the whole Ramayana, this section is one of a very, very appreciated section, especially for the human beings to learn from. That what is selfless love is beyond power and position, and that is not possible by hearing Ramayana and reading. It is only by first following the scriptures, taking up 16 rounds, reading scriptures, for implementing that in your life. Then it is possible to understand. Otherwise, not possible. You can hear it, but it will not have any impact in heart until you follow. So Bharat says that yes, I will accept the kingdom, and he brings the golden sandals. He had actually brought the chariot, the helmet, all the paraphernalia to perform Rajya Abhishek of Lord Rama and to take him to Ayodhya. He brings the golden padukas and tells Lord Rama, my dear Lord, you put your feet on them. And after you put your feet, I'll consider them as you, padukas, resembling you. And I will take them to Ayodhya. I am not the king, now you are the king. But these padukas will resemble you. I'll put them on the throne. And remembering you, worshipping them, I will take care of Ayodhya as a caretaker of Lord Rama's kingdom. And another request I have is, if you delay by 1 day to reach Ayodhya after 14 years, Bharat will enter fire at that very moment. Lord Ramachandra embraces. Everyone is into tears to see the detachment of Bharat, love of Bharat towards Rama, and Rama's detachment towards the kingdom, but towards the duty. In this way, this section of Ramayana ends. Actually, the Ayodhya Kand ends from here, wherein Bharat actually takes the lotus feet, padukas of Lord Rama, and he proceeds towards Ayodhya, seeking the blessings of all the seniors. In this way, in Lord Ramachandra, after Bharat goes back, he puts them throne and then takes them to Nandigram. Nandigram is still a place which is in the boundaries of Ayodhya territory. Bharat lives like a Vanavasi till the 14 years. He also mends his hair and worships every day the padukas of Lord Rama. Every day, remembering Lord Rama as the king, he takes care. This is how Bharat teaches all of us, that we should know that this family, this society, this kingdom, this property, money, the beauty, everything what we have is the possession of the Lord. We are simply caretakers. It is given by the Lord to us until and unless we don't identify the true proprietor and glorify that proprietor. Nowadays, some big minister will come, "Ah, wo aa gaya, ye aa gaya." Some big man will call you, some big boss will give you a little bhav. You will jump up and down, just for some material positions and material encouragement. People go crazy today for so-called some material. कोई minister बात कर ले, कोई superstar मिल गया, or some superstars give you a signature, identify you, or he knows you, or some money you have. People go crazy about these things. But the real essence of life is to identify the true proprietor, the right owner. That is the real thing. And then live the life as a caretaker of the position of the true owner. This body, anything what is connected or possessed by this body is actually the position of Lord Rama, and I am simply the servant and the caretaker. Bharata exemplifies that. And selflessness, one of the most important things Bharat teaches, is that throughout he came back after Dasharatha leaves. Throughout his journey till he reached Rama, the citizens of Ayodhya doubted Bharat. The ministers doubted Bharat. Mother Kaushalya was a little sarcastic. Guha doubted Bharat. Bharadwaj Muni doubted Bharat. Lakshman doubted Bharat. It was so difficult and painful for Bharat. Bharat did not give up his determination to serve Lord Rama. It was not shaken. So in our life, there will be challenges in the form of anything it can be, in the form of family, society, business, downfall in business, anything it can be, anything it may be. But if your attention is towards the proprietor and duty towards the proprietor, the Supreme Lord, and what is the Lord wants us to do, that is exemplified in Ramayana, in Mahabharata, in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam. What his devotees are doing. And great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, who come down and preach the same message, and his followers. We have to follow that path, and we have to just go on, and our life will be successful. After Bharat leaves from here, Lord Ramachandra every day cries, remembering, because Bharat came, 3 mothers came, Shatrughna came, Vashishtha came. For Lord Rama to remain in Chitrakoot becomes very difficult, and he goes to Mother Sita and tells her that ever since Bharata has come, I'm not able to sleep here. I'm not able to live here peacefully. Again and again, I am remembering Bharata, because Bharata came and lived with us, and he expresses to Mother Sita that I cannot live here anymore. And Lord Rama, Lakshmana and Bharat, they proceed towards Dandakaranya forests from here. But this way, Ramayana, this section teaches us renunciation and love of Bharat, dutiful qualities of Lord Rama, and Lakshmana's attachment and Lakshmana being corrected. Bharata's determination that no matter what comes in the path of devotional service towards the Supreme Lord, one should not give up. One should not give up faith. My mother is not allowing, my father is not allowing, husband is not allowing, wife is not allowing, or whatever it may be, financial situation, financial insecurities. We should have faith on the teachings. The Supreme Lord is a maintainer. Supreme Lord is a creator. Now there is a lockdown. Everyone, there 1 year was a lockdown. By will of providence, everyone lived. Those who had to die, they died. People lived. Things are going on. Everything was shut down. People were eating. Anything happens, people get 2 times food. Earlier I used to think that poor people, why God has made them poor. That clarity came out when, I used to always travel by the local train and see all the slums. I used to feel that, they are poor, they are poor, they are poor, they are poor. But until when the dish TV came up, then if you go to the slums, you will see a dish in every slum. That was eye opener for me. Everyone has his karma for how he has to live, and how, but everyone eating, clothing and shelter is taken care by the Lord. That was opener. So this false philanthropy doesn't help. We have to be on the teachings of scriptures. follow the ideals like Bharat. And this way our life will be successful. Thank you very much. We're out of time. Maybe till Sita Navami, if Narottam Prabhu and Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu allows, we will continue. Thank you very much. I'll stop here. We're already out of time.
So thank you, Prabhuji, for removing so much time over the last 2 weekends and also today. It's always very ecstatic to hear whenever you speak, but especially when you speak Ramayana. And actually, the topic of Bharat Maharaj is one of the favorites of Sitaram Prabhu. He likes to talk about Bharat Maharaj's sacrifice, and that's like, there are some devotees who have some favorite topics. So for Sitaram Prabhu talking about Bharat, he gets very emotional and he gets fully into that. So therefore, hearing especially Bharat Maharaj's pastime from Sitaram Prabhu is always very special. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Do you have time if anyone has any questions, or would you like to end now?
Yes, I have one message only, the last, which I wanted to share. Of all the days when we hear about Lord Rama, today on his holy appearance, the day the Lord is merciful, he appears on this Tithi of Rama Navami to give this world a reason, an alternative reason to live with peace and affection. So, on this day, Narottam, you can mute. On this day of Rama Navami, appearance of Lord Rama, hearing about Rama, and all of us, whatever weaknesses, whatever shortcomings we have, if we with folded hand deeply cry and pray to Lord Rama will help us to come out of this. This is what I have learned, experienced, and seen my spiritual master and many senior Vaishnavas doing. On holy appearance days, I've seen many senior Vaishnavas, they will just continuously see that deity of the day and pray and pray and pray continuously. So if we pray, we will be blessed by the Lord. Thank you very much. So this was what I wanted to share. And yes, I'm in Mayapur Dham. So I have time if devotees have questions. If someone wants to speak, they can speak also, but otherwise I will read the questions. Regarding authority, if two devotees develop, let me take it, make it big. Charge it. If two devotees develop some friendship and share everything to each other, the other devotee shares those things with authority, and he feels uncomfortable about it, then that devotee feels very offended and he trusted that devotee. So will this situation will be considered the Vaishnava offenses, that they shared everything with authority, or else it should be avoided? No. See, you have to understand, a few days ago I was giving a class on Chaitanya Charitamrita. In that, there is a description of offenses. We have to know very well, sometimes our mind, out of being overly spiritual on a very external platform, we try to too much get into the nitty-gritties of offenses. But we have to know the offenses are the real kind of offenses, the people whom we are envious of. Real offense towards a Vaishnava means when you see a Vaishnava, you are feeling envious of him, you are criticizing him, you are seeing the bad qualities, always bad qualities. Somehow or other your mind goes towards only the bad of it. Whatever good he does, you cannot see only. You only see the bad of that person. That is called offense, because you are envious, insecure, or maybe unsuccessful. But this thing, it is an etiquette that anything you equals should never have intimacy. Equals should always be together to serve. Our intimacy should be with superiors, and with the shelter of superiors we can have intimacy. In fact, anyone has a shortcoming, if he cannot share with a superior, he should tell the friend, this is my problem, why did you go and tell my superior? That is Vaishnava etiquette. That is actually spiritual friendship. If you don't do that, actually you're cheating your soul. So we don't need to worry. And someone who's been corrected or whose weaknesses have come to superior should consider this as a blessing. And that if such a person doesn't consider this as blessing, you note my words, such a person cannot live in association of devotees long, because he's not taking correction as a blessing, but he's showing his false ego. And I have personally seen such devotees choose themselves more important than the association of devotees, and they leave association of devotees, go away. So it's a very deep thing. Thank you for asking this question. It reminds me about for myself. As Krishna descended, whenever there is a decline in religion and incline in religion, is this the meaning behind one who understand and my appearance and disappearance with will not take birth again? What does understanding appearance means in the context of Prabhuji? So appearance means that we are born with no choice. Father impregnates a mother with his semen, and then we don't choose that this womb, this beautiful mother, this ugly mother, this big house. We don't choose all these things. We are born based on our karma. So we are conditioned soul. We take birth by force. We take birth by force, and then we come out of into this world also by force. But the Lord, he is not bound to this. He appears by his will. Anyone in hearing here can say that he has taken birth by his will? No, cannot. Only one person has a monopoly on that. He is called God because of this, that he chooses to appear. That's why it is called appearance, transcendental. It's not material. His birth date. It's not like that. The Lord appeared. Why? For what? To give us all these things, to hear about him, to kill Ravana. He can do from where he is. But he comes here because he knows that if I do these leelas here with my devotees, the devotees, people who will come later, they will remember me, and remembering me will be the bliss of their life. Similarly, like all of us hearing Ramayana, I am speaking simple things, but because it is about Lord Rama, it is transcendental. It is going to the heart. It is not going to the mind. It is going to the heart. So that is why it's spiritual. So appearance of the Lord is spiritual. I hope that answers your question. So I think I'll stop here now. There are no more questions also. So thank you very much. We will plan again. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai. Sri Ram Navami Mahotsav ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.